Hey everyone, welcome back to our Citizens Crime Watch podcast. I am your host, Joe Bermudez, and we are here today. I'm here with an old, I don't want to say an old friend of mine because then we date ourselves, right? But a friend of mine that I've been working with for several years, Troy Johnson. And you'll get to hear a little bit more about him and stuff he's got to share. But I tell you that he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to emergency management and preparedness and hurricane stuff and all that stuff. And it's really good because if you haven't figured out by now in our title or not, what are we talking about today? We're here to talk about emergency management and hurricane preparedness. Obviously, we're in the midst of hurricane season. One of the wonderful perks that we have of living here in South Florida. But we are here to get some tips and get some information and learn about what emergency management is and what they do and how they can help us during hurricane season. So,
glad to be here.
Troy, thank you very much for coming and joining us here today. I really, truly appreciate it. So before we get started, let's tell our friends out there watching, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
A little background, how long you've been with emergency management and stuff like that.
Sure. Again, my name is Troy. I'm actually originally from Jamaica, and I'd like to big up my Jamaican ladies for unfortunately bringing down my Brazilian partners last night or this morning. But came to this country, wonderful country, learned a lot, and through the years, emergency management, public safety was one of my passions, and I was lucky to be here with the county to work. And in that sense, I came here in since the year 2000, and worked in various aspects as far as emergency management when it comes to healthcare, other sectors, public safety being one of those. And I've been here with the county since 2006 until now, and learned a lot. But public safety, helping the community has always been a passion of mine, and having an impact. Whatever best I can do in working with others.
That's awesome. My passion. Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that you are a man of working with the community and being involved and stuff. And we got to know each other through Citizen Corps, which is something we'll talk about in a little bit. But
definitely.
Yeah, you're always one of these people that I know of that you're always willing to give back. I want to give back to the community, and you enjoy your job because you're able to do that and give back and help. Exactly. I've always known you for being that individual that wants to help, and I know you're always my go-to guy if I got a question. I know, Troy, where you at? No matter,
I see the name. I'm like, oh, Joe, I got to help out, see what's else.
But I appreciate it, and we're very honored and privileged to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me here.
So first and foremost, talk about emergency management. So we use that word. That is a department within Miami-Dade County government.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more? Because some people might not know what emergency management is, or what their function is. What's their primary goal, their function within county government? Sure.
And emergency management is a broad discipline. It does come under public safety, and there's various levels of government in which each level of government has this type of service. For the county, our level is really very broad because Miami-Dade County is such a large area that encompasses other governments as far as jurisdictions. And, it's one of those areas that has so many different, Miami-Dade is so diverse when it comes to the geography, living in South Florida, so many people that are here, different backgrounds, different communities. And as emergency management, our goal really is to protect the community from various hazards that are just naturally inherent here for living in South Florida, with hurricanes being one of those severe weather, whether it be tornadoes, lightning. We also have a nuclear power plant that is here. So we look at the various hazards and threats that affect our communities and affect your safety, and we look at ways how we can protect you and educate those on how to protect themselves on a large scale. The everyday fires and things are handled by local services, but we can tend more to focus on the larger threats that can impact a global community at large. So hurricanes, floods.
I mean, sometimes we don't even have to worry about hurricanes. Sometimes we get a good rainstorm and flood take us out.
Under extreme circumstances with climate change, as far as the impact, as far as the weather being more severe. Severe weather is really the number one thing, and it's really across the nation. Severe weather is the number one impact that emergency management, whether it's here in Florida or other states, whether at the county level, federal level, or at the city level. Severe weather is one of those big things that impacts why we do our job to protect the public, followed by man-made hazards, of course, with bad guys or those that want to hurt others.
So that's like services. So are there specific? I mean, that's like general stuff. Is there a specific service other than that you perform? I know I mentioned one, Citizen Corps. A little bit ago. I know that falls under emergency management as well.
Right. Well, it's very broad in that we do things that are behind the scenes, so things that you may not notice, but is there in front of you, such as the traffic lights. We make sure to what we call mitigation, where we harden or improve infrastructure so that when a disaster comes, it lessens the chance of those things being impacted. So the hospitals that you go to, the fire stations, the police stations, we make sure that those government services are able to do their jobs to serve the public, to serve you as far as in the community, to make sure that you get the services that you need. So we're behind the scenes, making sure those government services are able to do their jobs correctly and do it well. We also, for the public, provide information, whether it be the hurricane guides that you get in the mail, our website where we provide information as far as where you can access emergency preparedness information that's for free. For those that are special populations, we provide as far as a service known as EEAP, Emergency Evacuation Assistance Program. It's an eligibility-based program for those that meet a certain medical criteria that needs assistance of being evacuated from low-lying areas in case of a hurricane. We're able to then provide assistance to those that are eligible and sign up for that. So that's a service that we provide year-round and reach out to those special groups in the community with functional access needs to ensure that they also have a great chance of surviving in case of a threat or a hazard. So our service is really looking at the hazards and how we can best protect the public in any means that we can.
And you guys are housed at Miami-Dade Fire headquarters out of the what they call the EOC, Emergency Operations Center.
Emergency Operations Center, correct.
So you're like ground zero when it hits the fan.
When it hits the fan.
When it hits the fan, when the phone rings, it says, okay, that little red phone rings. You go, time to get to work.
Time to get to work.
And you activate that EOC and get to work. But you're a crucial part.
Our crucial part, and Miami-Dade, we have so many resources, so many services are there to help you. And the best analogy I put it is like sports. You can have a football team. It's made up of many different positions, but to be very successful, you need to have a coach, you need to have a quarterback, and a system, so that everything is coordinated well. We work together as a team to help solve the problem. In this case, protect the public. So our job is behind the scenes and coordinating all those various services and entities to work together.
Awesome. Yep. So I know I mentioned Citizen Corps, and I kind of want to put this out there to the community because it's an amazing program. Like I said, that's where we first got to know one another.
Yes.
That was in my other life in law enforcement when I worked in community policing and community affairs for the Miami-Dade Police Department. And that's where we got to know each other as far as that, and volunteers and police service. And there's different factions within there that maybe some of our viewers may want to get involved with Citizen Corps.
Of course.
And so you have the different areas. I mentioned volunteering and police services is one, the VIP.
Yes.
What else we have? We have
SERT, which is Community Emergency Response Team. It's a general free training that we give for the public in dealing with disaster preparedness, the skills that you can learn on your own to protect your family and protect your neighbor, and responding post-storm to kind of help assess what's going on in the area, provide some light level of help, whether it be search and rescue or fire suppression, and be able to report back information to us, government, to help out. And
let me tell you, that's a great program.
Yes.
As a police officer, I really loved that program because you're able to train these people, and they basically become kind of an extension of our police department.
Yes.
And it helps us because obviously I always talk about when I teach. So the police department is outnumbered out there when it comes to the residents, the number of residents in Miami-Dade County to the number of officers. And specifically when a storm hits or emergency situation, we get pulled in every direction.
Correct.
So having this group out there that can come out there and supplement our ranks is amazing.
It's key.
And I remember we used to train them on traffics, helping it with traffic lights when the lights are out, directing traffic. So, which that's amazing. If I can get a civilian out there to help out and do that, then I can pull up my police officer. The supervisor. I can pull up my police officer and say, okay, I have somebody out there that can direct traffic. I can pull him and now have him respond to emergencies, calls for service, and stuff like that. So that's amazing. And when there's other type of disasters that are out there, I mean, these they get geared out. They're well trained. Their hard hats and their vests and their safety gear, and they're ready to rock and roll when the time comes. It's awesome. So it's a great program. I'm very big proponent of the SERT program. So.
No, it's an awesome program, and again, it's one of those things where it's twofold in that we teach skills for the public to protect themselves, build confidence, work together as a team, build the community, because you build your neighborhood, because you get to know your neighbor, you get to work with your neighbor, is one of the key components with that, and also is a resource back to us that is just a way of sharing back, giving back to.
That's awesome, and I thank you guys for that.
Yep.
Another faction I know we used to have is the
there's Medical Reserve Corps, which again is a group of retired health professionals that have an opportunity to give back to their community by still serving. By providing their skills in an organized role, again, in serving the community. And the key pieces with Citizen Corps is the idea of government is not able to succeed in emergency management alone. We need the community help. We need that engagement for the community to help themselves, and for us to give them the tools and resources they need to do that, and also to help government.
Yeah. And that's great, having that reserve component, because, I mean, when it comes to when you have a situation like that, I mean, I'm going to date myself and go back to Andrew. I remember, they were overwhelmed, the hospitals, the injuries, and people going and stuff like that. I remember having Southlake Government Center was transformed into a triage center.
Oh, yes, wow!
And I remember working that. I worked in both. I worked it as a police officer, and also as I was a National Guardsman at the time, and they activated. So we were there working that area, and I remember, you had to make this makeshift hospital, and bring in all this extra medical staff, because the hospitals are overwhelmed, doctors' offices are overwhelmed, and stuff like that. So you had to do this. You have to make do.
Make do with what you got.
So it's great having this great reserve component.
And Crime Watch.
Crime Watch is the other faction. So now my other hat that I'm over here now, and Crime Watch as far as that, and that's bringing the community together, bringing neighborhoods together to take care of themselves and help police officers and keep the eyes, as we say, the eyes and ears of the community. We're a proud member. We are a proud member of the Citizen Corps, and
as you can see, each group helps each other.
Exactly, they kind of all overlay one another. It's amazing. It's a great program, and I encourage any of you that have any of the interest in any of those different fields or stuff like that to get involved, and we will have some links in our bio, in our program description, that you can go ahead and click on and sign up and look into more of these programs, SERT trainings and stuff like that. So
and they're all free. They're all free, so
that is our favorite word. I always like to use it, free. When we train, when we teach, guess what? It's free. If it's free, it's for me, right?
Exactly.
So
and you get stuff.
That's it.
Helmet, backpack.
Get a little goodie bag when you're done.
Yes.
So, but that's awesome. That's awesome. So look for that, and hopefully some of you will get involved and help to give back to the community and stuff like that. So
awesome.
Okay, so we talked about hurricane season. Tell us, what is the active role of emergency management when hurricane season starts, or I guess right before it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you guys, that's probably a crazy time.
It's a crazy
when there's no storms out there, there's like a little lull, but right before it, it's like, okay, we got to get ready for this.
It's funny because folks always think, oh, you guys are the hurricane guys, and when the season's over, everything kind of ramps down, and really we're busy year round. Hurricanes is one of the hazards that we look at, but also we're all hazards approach. So we're really busy all year round preparing for everything. And when I say preparing, meaning we're working with government, other parts of government. We're working with the public as far as providing information so everyone understands their hazards and what they can do to help each other and help us. But for hurricanes specifically, it's kind of like a play, or even again, preseason game. Everything is a preparation mode. Understanding what are the gaps, where are the weaknesses with certain
your mini
agencies.
camp or your training camp. We're going football, man. We're there.
We're there.
So it's your training camp, your mini camp.
Exactly. So there's a lot of activity behind the scenes in meeting with a lot of different partners, understanding their gaps, their needs, how we can strengthen that, how we can build relationships, get those processes in place for what we need to do so that when hurricane season starts, we're ready to go. And we watch, we monitor, the Atlantic and the Caribbean, the Gulf, to see when the threat's coming or not. And again, we work with our partners in getting that. But it's not easy. I say it's like
you start looking at them and those spaghetti
and
models,
those spaghetti models,
all
and
those
all
things.
that, you know.
Craziness,
but
man.
it's a lot of work because there's a lot of partners. Miami-Dade County, again, we're lucky in that we have federal agencies, county, city, nonprofit organizations that we work with, our partners with us, and like Catalyst Miami and some others. And so, it takes a lot of time to get together with everyone, so everyone understand each other and know how we work together to be ready for storm season.
Awesome.
Look at plans, look at all that good stuff.
Awesome. So we're into hurricane season now.
Yes.
Thankfully, we've been good so far.
And we're past.
We say knock on wood,
yes,
knock on wood,
yes,
all the good stuff.
Yes,
here. How's it looking so far? We looking good.
So far, so good. But like the National Weather Service or NOAA, the National Hurricane Center, there's a prediction as that's going to be a busy season, and we're already past the letter D. So that means A, B, C. We already had like 4 systems. And we're only in we just started August.
Yeah.
So
and that's when it ramps up, man. August. We always say August, September. We gets a little nervous.
Time, exactly. So. And you can see with this is the first for us having these extreme heat advisories, extreme heat warnings. Just to show the temperature of the water is pretty high, and that's the kind of the necessary ingredient for these storms to come up. So
it becomes like a whole new factor now that you got to throw in there. Maybe we weren't prepared for before that, and then have all this heat now.
You have all this heat, So luckily we're in the El Nino phase, which is one of those weather phenomena that's going on that brings a lot of wind shear that kind of helps prevent these storms from really getting up to us, and that's why we've been good. We've been good.
Knock on wood, brother.
But as they say, I know they predicted like 17 to 19 storms this season, but we all know, like Andrew, it only takes one.
It takes one.
It only takes one.
We've had
and that was a small one.
And Ivan last year, on the West Coast.
Ian. Yes.
So
yes.
It just takes one.
It only takes one, but and the other factor is we've since really Irma. It's been 6 years.
Right.
So there's always that complacency. So people kind of maybe not have their kid, or maybe I don't really know. Kind of be more relaxed with it. So our job is to really bring that more to the forefront, just to remind everyone. Just to be ready, be cognizant. have a plan. And
so on that note,
yes,
let's talk, because we could sit here probably for hours and go on and tips and give one after. Give me your top 5, 10. However many you think is good. Give me your top 5, 10 tips that you can give our viewers here when it comes to hurricane preparedness.
Got it. Actually, I always go with the top 3. One is, make a plan, get a plan, right? And the first thing is, where are you? Am I in an evacuation zone? I'm in an area where I need to evacuate. That is the first big piece as far as getting your plan or knowing what's going on. Because if you're in a low-lying area and you need to evacuate, that means you need to know where you're going to evacuate to. Do you already have a place in mind? Is it a neighbor or a family member, whether it be, on the west? We tend to, when we plan to evacuate, it's from the low-lying area to a high-lying area. So that's really from the East Coast inland into the county. We don't necessarily want you to leave the county. Obviously, Florida is a peninsula, so storm, no matter where you go in Florida, you're going to get impacted to some degree of it. So our plan within the county is just to leave the low-lying areas and evacuate.
So it's important to know your zones.
It's important to know your zone.
You got to know.
You got to know your zone.
Where I live.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to leave?
If I have to leave, right? So having that plan then involves, okay, where am I going? Do I already have those arrangements pre-made already? Even if it's a hotel within the area. Obviously, a family or friend is the best. We do provide evacuation centers for those that may not have anywhere else to go, but that's really a place of last resort. So we really want people to plan ahead Now, if you have the means and you want to leave the state, that's up to you. We do have people that
you
do
got
that.
to fight that I-95 turnpike travel
Man,
north.
that's part of the planning. Like, if you're going to do that, you got to do it early. Because if you wait too late, Ian, a lot of people got stuck on that highway. And the storm came through, so you don't be stuck out there worried about fighting gas, all that good stuff. So,
and to throw something in there, I'll tell you a quick funny story.
What's that?
Years and years ago, we were on vacation on the West Coast, in the Naples Marco Island area, and a storm was coming.
Got it.
And it was coming from the Gulf. It was supposed to be coming up, and I got activated, so I got pulled back.
Yeah.
Had to come back to work. My family stayed over there. They said, well, we're going to wait it out and see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of our friends that were from Northern and stuff that are not used to dealing with storms and stuff, freak out. We got to get out of here. So they packed up their stuff, started heading north.
Yeah, yeah.
And you want to know the funniest thing? Because it was impromptu, no plan. Of course, they're not used to dealing with this. The island was beautiful.
Right.
Nothing in it. Shiny, bright day, beautiful. And the storm headed north and went right up. They headed towards like Orlando area, and the storm went right across Orlando. So they got rained on, wind and stuff in the hotel that they were staying up there. They could have stayed back and been fine. So you got to have a plan. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're traveling from out of town, maybe get with someone here and know, hey, how does this, what's the work? How does it go, and stuff like that, because you never know.
You never know.
And you can't just be impromptu.
Right.
You got to have that plan.
You got to have that plan.
But remember that.
Yeah, and 3 points. So make a plan, get a kit, because I always tease my friends and folks that come down new here and live in Florida. If you live in Florida, South Florida, you got to get used to camping. At some point, if you get a severe storm or weather, your power's going to go out. There may be no access to food temporarily. So getting a kit is key. Having something that you have in house, that way you don't have to worry about leaving. You already have your food in place. You have some medical stuff nearby. You have some toiletry. So therefore, you already have encased your supplies and everything you need for your family. So you don't have to worry about going out to the elements or trying to fight to get things that you already have.
Your go bag. Back in the military, that's you have your go bag, a little stuff like that. Yeah,
flashlight,
batteries, stuff like that.
Weather radio,
weather radio. You know what I still have.
What's that?
And I laugh. This is where I date myself here again. So, you remember the old Sony Watchman?
Yes.
I still have one of those.
No way.
And
it works?
It works. It's hard. Sometimes you get the station. But you can pick some up here and there.
Right.
And let me tell you, there was some storms back in the day, a few years back, where I remember sitting in the closet there when it was really hitting, and I'm on my little Sony Watchman, black and white 2-inch TV, but I was watching the news. I was getting that news, that footage. So something, get something where you can get some information and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Definitely, like you said, water, a few rations and stuff like that for food for at least a couple of days, something like that.
Correct.
I know my wife, if she had a choice between water and air conditioning, she'd say, I want the AC.
Of course.
So, but you want to still have the essentials that you need every single day and stuff like that. So.
Definitely. And lastly, the third one is because I mentioned, of course, first, as far as know your plan, get a plan, build a kit, so the supplies we talked about, and then lastly, stay informed. And that could be pre-storm, so that
definitely pre-storm. You want to be informed ahead of time.
Exactly. So you know what's going on, what's happening, what government services are doing to protect the public, and arming information. That's one of the key things. The best thing that you can do is having that information, so you know exactly what to do for yourself and your family, and that involves either having a radio, the internet. That can go down though. So again, have the basics of a radio.
You do.
Those basically basics power radio. Battery powered radio is what to do, because we're as government going to provide information by all means, whether it be TV, radio, obviously print or internet. We'll do that. But in the emergency cases, those three main formats: radio, TV, internet, is how we're going to provide that.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something else where people always call me silly. Because I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah.
I love my technology. I'm a technology guru. I love all my stuff. But, something as simple with me is having a landline. I have a landline in my house.
There you go.
We don't use it. Honestly, I can't
right,
remember the last
right,
time I even
right.
answered the phone or you know, I got the ringer turned down, but it's there in case of an emergency.
Of course.
So if
of
you got to
course.
pick it up and dial 911 or something like
course.
that, having a landline, because
Yeah.
when that storm comes through, one of the first things that goes
Yeah.
is cell phones.
It's cell phones. Correct.
So you
Correct.
know, the last one that we had here through Dade County, they went out, and there was no it was very hard to communicate back and forth with anybody, and you get. You know, not many people have landlines anymore. Everybody relies on cellular phones, on mobile phones.
Yeah.
So even having a landline in your house, one that you could use to call for emergency, call for help, or to be able to communicate with your loved ones.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Get the cheapest thing out there. Pay the bare minimum, something that you have, so that it's something that looks a little more reliable. Now that could go out as well, obviously.
Right.
But the chances of that going out first are minimal compared to a tower, or even the towers getting jammed up.
Yeah.
When everybody's starting to call for help, trying to get on and stuff like that. So you need something having a little landline like that.
And it's a very good point. And also, having to have relatives that are outside the area is also good, because it might be easier to call out than to call locally, depending on the type of emergency. So be able to, and that's all part of the plan, is if you have relatives that are outside the area, whether it's in another state or what have you, you can already develop that relationship. Say, hey, if I'm getting hit, I'm going to give you a call, let you know we're okay. Then you can then call other relatives that know we're okay. So the kind of
sounds like a Crime Watch phone chain there, yeah.
Exactly.
See, Crime Watch concepts in there. So you have your family phone chain.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So there's all these little tricks that you got to think of in the bag to be ready, and it goes back to being informed.
Exactly.
Of knowing those little tidbits of what to do, and that we provide for free on our website, which we'll provide later on. But miamidade.gov/DEM. Is where you can get information from there. We also have a state website that we'll share with you, that and FEMA.ready.gov also has those tips that you can do to prepare
There's lots of information out there. It's like you said, it's about looking for it and being ready.
Yes.
Being prepared.
Yes.
It's when you go to take a test, when you go to do something, you can't just walk in blindly to do it. So you got to do the research ahead of time.
Right.
You got to know what's available out there, where you can go, who you can call, and stuff like that. So it's about being prepared. 100%.
And just taking the time. That's where the preparedness comes in. It serves so much in the end, in the long run. It's just a matter of being conscious of taking some time to just really look at certain things and
and stuff is like having the supplies to secure your home.
Correct.
Having the shutters ready, not running to Home Depot or Lowe's the night before the storm trying to find. Can I find some plywood? Have that stuff ready.
Have that stuff ready ahead of time.
You got to be able to
Blue Skies, you look at your supply. Look at it, what you have. Check it. Is it still, or you got rusted stuff? Or, so
definitely.
that's all the things that need to take into account. But those are the three basic things that, obviously there's more, but those are really the three pillars.
And if you go, we'll give you the website. You'll go to the guides, and the guides are just full of tips and stuff like that.
Right.
I wanted to touch on something, because we always talk about when we talk about hurricane preparedness.
Okay.
Because we're talking about making a plan, family protecting, stuff like that, and a lot of times people forget the little furry family members.
Oh,
pets.
yes.
So I always want to put out there is have a plan. And include your pets.
Include your pets, man. Even when we have our evacuation centers, like I said, they're last resort. We even have an evacuation center so that you can bring your pet as well. That's how much we find that it is important to have as a factor with that. But there was big time.
There was nothing more heartbreaking. I'm an animal lover.
Yes.
And there was nothing more heartbreaking than when I was out on patrol after a storm or something like that, and you just see dogs and these. They're just out there lost and ran, because family didn't know what to do.
Right.
They didn't have a plan. They weren't prepared, and they packed up whatever they wanted to take and left Fido at home to fend for himself.
Gotcha.
And it's sad. It's sad seeing them. And I know county has services where they will, you can contact them and they'll round them up and stuff like that and try to reunite them with family members.
Yes.
But have a plan ahead of time. Think about your pets. If the cats, the dogs, and stuff like that. What shelters you can take them to.
Right.
have that go bag for them too.
Have a good. That's
You're gonna need dog food.
You're gonna need dog food.
Unless you want to share your your empanada with Fido, you got to make sure you got some dog food or some treats for him. Make sure that you have some stuff for them and ready and stuff like that. But I always want to emphasize that when it comes to being prepared and being ready.
Yes.
When it comes to that.
Yes.
Think about our furry friends out there.
Please do, please do. And again, that's part of the information we provide. These are things we want people to think about. As far as what to do when it comes to preparedness. So,
awesome.
Including that is key.
Well, awesome. Thanks. That's some great tips. And like I said, there's more that we'll have to have. Is there anything else you want to share? I think you talked about there's some other websites out there.
There's also when you talk about preparedness is your home for homeowners. There's a program called mysafefloridahome.com or .gov. Again, I'll provide that with you. But what's key with that program is if you qualify, they'll be able to provide grant funding for you to help harden or protect your home. So it's really a great program to really look into for homeowners, for something to think about as far as any additional support will be needed, assistance needed to harden your home for protection.
Awesome. So they give funding for shutters. They give funding
for shutters or maybe impact glass windows for the homes.
Oh, write that down.
So it's obviously there's probably an eligibility or qualification piece, but having the information, see what it is, and go from there is something to really look into, for that as far as a resource. So make sure to include that with you.
We will. We'll put that, and we will make sure to put that website in there for you.
Yes.
So that you guys can because it's all about being prepared and having information and being ready. So.
Yes, for sure. I mean, really our big picture is, we want to make sure that all of Miami-Dade residents, visitors that come here, that they have all the essential services they need in times of a disaster. And we want to let you know ahead of time so that the core piece is to protect you and to protect everyone. And so we're do alert notification if we have to, whether it be Miami-Dade Alerts is a service that you can sign up for on your phone so that when we push out information, you get it on your phone. Because I know everyone has a mobile phone these days. Obviously, we'll push it through normal media channels like that was mentioned. But we will find a way to make sure we get the information to you in times of emergency. And any protective action needed, meaning something that we feel to protect the public that we're going to enact, we'll make sure to make the right judgment to do so in a timely fashion.
And that's awesome because we all it's important we get our TikTok alerts and our Twitter alerts. You got to throw in these emergency management alerts as well. That's important.
And even if you don't subscribe, it's a real threat. Through the FEMA program, we're able to send out notifications to any mobile phone anyway. You probably saw that a little bit with COVID as far as the stay-at-home thing through our previous administration, through leadership, where we were able to do that. And working with the current leadership now in the executive office of the county mayor, that's part of the decision-making with you for them to make those decisions. But that's our job here to provide those recommendations. And
let me tell you, I know emergency management and Dade County, Miami-Dade County is in good hands with Troy.
We're a team. We're a team.
Yeah, but it's always been a pleasure to work with you and be able to bring this information out and share and educate the community what's out there and what's available. And I'm proud, to call you a partner and a friend.
Of course.
And so I thank you. I thank you for your time and coming out here with us and share.
Anytime. And, we work hard to bring down grant funding to continue those trainings with SERT and Medical Reserve Corps. And so, Crime Watch is a key partner that we always want to support in all the programs. So we'll try to bring down funding in the best ways that we can and to support any means the best way we can with the programs to make sure you guys do what you do and continue.
Thank you very much. Well, a lot of information. Hopefully you guys learned some new stuff when it comes to emergency management and hurricane preparedness, and that everybody stays safe and ready. And again, I got to do this as many times as I can. Knock on wood. We have a good, safe hurricane season, and we can get through this one. But I thank you all for joining us today. I thank again, Troy. Thank you for being out here. I truly appreciate it.
Everyone stay safe, and we're all going to get through it together anyway. No matter what happens, we're all a collective unit. We're a good team.
We're all together.
So we'll make it work.
Exactly. But I always say, safety starts with you.
Yes. Yes, indeed.